Okay, guys, can you hear me? Welcome back to Cassandra's Curse, where all the knowing does no good when nobody will listen. That's the theme for this second channel over here. This is a very important live stream. Not that I say this all the time, but at any given time, the information is so important when I say it. But what I'm getting at is what I'm going to tell you in this live stream is important right now. Right this moment, it's important. So I need more people to wrangle in. I'm not going to begin until everyone's, situated and in here. But I have to tell you guys something very important. A part 2 to the stream, Kyle says. Hey, Kyle, I might be going all night and day, honey. There might be a part 7 to this because it's that important. You guys saw I just got a strike for no reason. If you guys saw the video, you saw it was their own video footage with 0 audio from myself. So it's all their own footage that they already have out there on other channels that they've already made money off of. Those are okay to stay up, but I got the strike. Oh, Michael, I'm going to be up and down on this, but I need to talk to you guys and tell you something very, very important. So let me make sure that everyone knows that we're on. Put it out on my Twitter. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go, Lita. Thank you. Okay. Something that's going on. You guys may not, maybe you're confused right now. Maybe you're not confused at all because it hasn't gotten to you yet. But who called DSS on the greens? Was it Roasted Studios or was it the Angry Neighbor? Who called? Well, I'll tell you exactly. Listen to everything I say first. I have to finish. I called in March and in May. I called. Now that I have the proof out there that I called, and they put the proof out there that abuse happened, it shows that somebody tried to help from the abuse to occur from the first place, okay? I tried to help it from occurring. Pickle Boy put on his own channel in the episode, writing him out of our lives, that they got abused, right? Okay, writing him out of our lives. He puts it out there and they admit, yeah, abuse happened. They didn't do anything to help the kids. Hi, Deanna. All right, hang on. I'm Eric, Kyle, Princess, Creative J, Justin, Deanna, the Screwdriver. Okay, so sorry, we're blocking people left and right. So I called and they corroborate with my story and back that up that the kids got abused, they said. And I showed you the calls that I tried to make to prevent not just child abuse, but elder abuse, because elderly people, if they're not abusing by via neglect, and maybe they are abusers, as the old man was, but I knew that abuse was going to happen to him as well. Okay. I knew he was in danger right along with the kids. That's why we called. Now, all of a sudden, now that this has gotten really, really serious, right? Now, all of a sudden, you might be hearing a little lie that's been going around. A little lie that, oh, the Angry Neighbor called. It wasn't Roasted. Or it was Roasted and the Angry Neighbor. But what's going along with the story of the Angry Neighbor having supposedly called? Well, if she called, which she didn't, then hang on, guys. Hang on one second. Give me 1 second, guys. I just got a very important message. So give me 1 second. This is very, very important. And can everybody hear me? Give me a 5 in the chat. And if I need to start the story all over again, I will. Be right back. Okay. I just say 1 5. Okay, good. Okay. They want you to think the Angry Neighbor called. Okay? If she's the one that called, They said that the calls were harassing in nature, right? Aaron, the person that I thought was on our side, this child, who's her friend, was running around saying that to my mod, Lita. Okay? That the angry neighbor called and it was out of spite. The scapegoated daughter has been running around saying that I'm friends with the angry neighbor and that I called in excess. If they can get you guys to believe that the angry neighbor called for no reason, or that she made the calls and that she's not their friend and that she's a bad person, then they never get held accountable for the real calls that were made by me. And I showed you the proof on my channel. It's there right now. Go check it out. Instead of addressing, while Pickle Boy is allowing the kids to create an episode out of them while mentioning their child abuse, okay? Instead of addressing it and saying, wow, Roasted called and she showed the proof, and yeah, instead of just addressing it, he wants you to think bad things about his friend in the Monopoly, the angry neighbor. He wants you to think something negative about her. He wants you to think she called out of spite and for no reason. But they've shown that it was for reason, right? The brother was on the channels, right, saying he hoped women and kids would get sexually assaulted, and he would do it. He was threatening people's lives. He was telling people to suck his you know what. He was breaking cups online for people. This one girl sent him a cup, and she was an obsessive fan of his, and he broke it. He was shaking around on drugs and broke it. He was getting mad, making death threats. I knew abuse was going to happen. The kids were in danger. The old man was in danger because he's elderly. The kids were in danger twice over because the old man's an abuser and keeps them in neglect and wasn't going to take a stand for them. The kids were in danger 3 times over because Pickle Boy's an abuser, doesn't understand anything about enabling addicts, doesn't understand anything about getting them out of the house, doesn't understand anything about neglect being child abuses as well. All he understands is scapegoating and staying in the abuse role and exploiting the abuse. That's why I put the kids on camera talking about it. Okay? I'm not here to refute. If angry neighbor wants to run around saying that she called and she did it out of spite and everyone wants to back her up on that, you have to think of it separately than my phone call. I've never had anything to do with that woman. She's friends with the family. She took down Savage Live's channel before, Savage in 2016, with helping to lie and say truthful things when she was pissed off. But I don't know, when she became in good graces with the family again and the money was there, it all became a lie again. And Savage in 2016, her channel went down for it. Okay. Now they want you to think that real DSS calls weren't made when they put all the abuse out there and the after effects, which is the children got abused. Did they not? What about the cleanup guy walking up those stairs to the hotel room to exploit a drug addict? What did he say to start his YouTube channel? He said, you abused your dad, right? There's the elder abuse that we knew was going to happen that we tried to prevent. They're using it to exploit for content to start up their channels. They're using it to scapegoat the son to create content while the kids talk about their abuse, but nobody's really sticking up for the kids. In actuality, I have proof that the scapegoated daughter blamed me for making those calls. So not only are they not taking accountability for having not got the abuser out of the house and allowing the kids to get abused, not only are they causing diversion and distraction and lies by getting you to think the angry neighbor is the one that called and it was out of spite, not for real reason. And all while they have this scapegoated daughter running around saying that I'm calling in excess, I'm a stalker, I'm obsessed, I'm friends with the angry neighbor, I called out of spite. No, it's on them. They know it. They just struck my channel and took my video down. Nobody wants to take any accountability for all the video footage, all this abuse that they put out there. A 7-minute video of mine on Roasted Studios channel just went down with all their own footage, with me not giving an opinion on anything or talking for 1 second at all. Come on, guys, wake up. You see this isn't right. You see this is not right. So who called DSS on the greens? Well, I only know that I did because I showed proof. That's all that I know of. And it wasn't out of spite, it was to protect, because that's why you call. That's why you call DSS, because you think something bad is going to happen, or CPS. You call to try to prevent something from happening. You call to try to prevent something that's negative from happening. What's negative that happened? Ask Pickleboy yourself and writing him out of our lives. Here's the episode. Kids got abused, just like I knew would happen. The old man, elder abuse, happened, according to the cleanup guy. I don't see them refuting it, but I see them causing a big lie and distraction and manipulation by making you think the angry neighbor called out of spite. Don't allow them and herself, to just don't even watch her. I don't watch her at all. People send me things. They say, "Oh my gosh, she's so triggered by you. She's lying again. She's talking about this and that. She's not mentioning the abuse." Yeah, that's what she's there for. She's there to be a distraction. She allows herself to be used by the family any which way as long as it covers up their abuse, right along with her. Because she's on live streams in the past year talking about the abuse in the family around the time, but she never did anything to help. She never called. And she's allowing herself to be a lie and distraction right now by allowing people to lie and say that she called out of spite. It's a distraction. She's just somebody that gets used online to further lies. I'm sorry if you're just hearing this for the first time. I'm sorry if I have to break this to you, but the family's really triggered by my channel and by the truth on the channel, which includes me making DSS calls before abuse happens to try to prevent elder abuse and child abuse. And they back up and corroborate my story in their episode, writing him out of our lives, where the kids talk about having got beat up, abused, threatened, and given drugs. And in the episode where the cleanup guy walks up the stairs at the hotel to exploit someone who's on drugs to start a channel, get 30,000 subs overnight, he said right then and there that the scapegoated daughter abused the father, which we knew was going to happen as well. They're just scapegoating each other, enabling first, of course, then scapegoating after all this drama happens, and then just profiting off of the abuse patterns in the family. It's their shtick. It's been going on for a pretty long time. But you guys need to know that neglect is abuse. So if the angry neighbor doesn't do anything to help but provide Adderall, that's an abuser. Not only a drug abuser, but a drug pusher. So says herself out of her own words. She said she gave the kids Adderall. I'll make a video. Oh, but actually, it's already in our video, why I called DSS in the greens. So if you guys need to check that out, why I call DSS on the greens. She said so herself in there. She gave the kids Adderall. That's abuse, and it's enabling. It's enabling a drug addict to take away the drugs, use them. The kids go to school with a prescription that's not theirs. Could get them killed if it's the wrong dose, but she doesn't understand that. She just thinks she's helping the family. It's enabling. It's very dangerous. She thinks she's helping the family right now by causing distraction with the guy that's cutting open his face, by pretending to be an argument with anybody over there, including the cleanup guy. They're in cahoots with each other, causing a distraction, building up the channel. If she would have called DSS, that would have been great, but she herself said that she gave the kids Adderall. And, oh, what else? Something else that she did. She vandalized their home. If you guys need proof on that, let us know. We'll make a video. She vandalized their home. She was actually in discrepancy with them last year, not getting along with them. Nocturnal Saint Studios says, should we go and strike everything that these folks are doing? If you've seen my 7-minute video that got a strike, a false strike, and went down on my channel, I can't live stream over there now, Nocturnal, go check out all the channels that those videos are on and strike the same footage. I didn't talk at all in this video, give an opinion. It's up to public opinion. And They all got profited off the same footage, and it's all still up on their channels. So yeah, go to the angry ads, go to Life with Mikey, go to Angry Grandpa Show, and go to my throwback page. Those are all channels that I use for my footage to get the abuse. And he profited off of all those, and all the footage is still up, no strikes. And I just got a strike for making an abuse awareness video and put the number at the end for people to reach out if they need help and they think this is child abuse. I got the strike. It's a false strike though. So I will be appealing it. But what do you guys need to know in this live stream? Oh, okay. What you need to know unequivocally is that the angry neighbor is a distraction that's friends with the family, that lies for the family. It's very triggered right now on her channel. That's what you need to know. You need to know that she's going around trying to make it seem like she called when she didn't. Thank you, Bridget. Love you, sweetheart. She's a distraction. She wants you to think that she doesn't mind you thinking that she called and it was baseless with no merit and for no reason. That's what she wants you to think right now, just based on word of mouth with no proof. So I'm telling my audience, only believe what you see with proof at this point on. Because there's people lying. They want you to think I didn't call for reason, but they actually prove and back up the reason I called by having the kids go on camera and writing him out of our lives and stating they got abused, which is what I knew was going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Because of the extent of the abuse and neglect in this family with the old man on his kids, you heard all the abuse stories. You've seen the anger issues the scapegoated brother has, right? Making death threats, even threatening his own brother, threatening people online, threatening other YouTubers that disagree. He couldn't control his anger. He was on drugs. And he picked up some really bad habits from the father and was acting very dangerous and abusive online towards everyone. And I made the earlier on videos in this channel you could see. Abusing his platform as well, all in front of children, which I disagree with. Thank you, Nocturnal. I have your back too, Nocturnal. Thank you, honey. Hashtag it up, sweetheart. I knew that abuse was going to happen before it did, and I'm the one that made the calls. I showed you the proof. Would you believe anything I say if there was no video proof on this channel, their own video proof? Would you believe everything that I just say with no video proof? No, I wouldn't expect you to. So why does everyone blindly believe them? Out of friendships, because they got the bigger platform, because they got the most money, because they got the most clout and pull, because they know they can lie and that you'll believe them, because they don't care lying to you. That's why it all persists. Don't believe one lie further from them, the angry neighbor. I made the calls. Pickle Boy backs me up because he admits the kids got abused in the episode Writing Him Out of Our Lives. So there's no more manipulation and abuse tactics to include lies anymore with the cleanup guy, the guy that cut his face, the angry neighbor. They're all causing a distraction and a diversion from you, the audience. She didn't bother to make any calls because she didn't know that she was enabling. People that enable never usually stop. Or if they do, maybe they take accountability for it and talk about it. But they don't make up lies about making calls with no proof. I made the calls. Roasted Studios called Department of Social Services to try to protect the old man who's a child abuser and tried to protect children that couldn't protect themselves. I did it. Me. I did. Don't believe anything else that she says with no proof, because she's using it as a distraction to make it seem as if, can I have some water, honey? To make it seem as if she's calling And Pickle Boy even using this woman again to make it seem as if she's calling because she's just doing it out of spite. Or the kids didn't get abused. She's too busy vandalizing their house. That's what she was doing. Giving Adderall, scapegoating by giving Adderall, enabling by giving Adderall, and manipulating and eventually going to lie about Savage's channel and throwing eggs and even going so far further as to vandalizing the home to the point where they had to call the police on her, right? They had to call the police on her and make a police report against her because she was out of control herself. So, but you'll see, you might notice Angry Neighbors never really, I don't really watch her, but she's been busy like with the Monopoly, making a distraction, right? So I hear she's over there on her channel right now talking about me. Oh, I wonder why that is. I mean, if none of this is the truth, I mean, why is she so hot and bothered? I mean, really. So all you guys need to know is that they allowed an abuser to live in the home, a child abuser, someone who wasn't paying his child support, someone who wasn't able to have access to his children, someone who didn't have access to being able to know that he had choices over his own anger. And he was abusing people online. And it was just a matter of time before he was going to abuse the old man and the kids. And that's exactly what happened. But if you don't believe me, believe Pickle Boy, because he backs up my story, right? Pickle Boy backs me up 100% because in the episode Writing Him Out of Our Lives, he has the children talking about their abuse, talking about their child abuse and neglect from the old man, Pickle Boy, who owned that home and had the abuser living in it, and from the scapegoated brother who abused them. Oh, and is it safe to say, because I'm blowing the whistle now about this, or even louder, that there's going to be a new, bigger distraction, more lies? I mean, I think I told you guys a year ago, there's no reason for anyone not to listen to this message. Even though they've created about 1 billion for you guys with no proof, there isn't any reason at all. So don't be excited to listen to them at 3 o'clock or to listen to them when they come on, when they're going to lie to you again. Don't be excited to hear the lies. They should be excited to hear push the abuse awareness and prevention, right? Wow, where's the studio is called before Pickle Boy said that it mentioned all this abuse, and he exploited it on his channel for content and profit. We should be thanking Roasted Studios instead of causing diversions and distractions and lying. But we're the monopoly and we don't care. Let's strike the channel and never address the abuse, just to attack the person for no reason. Kyle said it's sad to see people flip-flopping over drama. I know. That's why Aaron was over here. He was over here spying around, telling Lita, my mod, that Angry Neighbor was the one that made the calls and she did it out of spite. No, that's the story I mentioned a few weeks or months ago. It's the diversion distraction that Pickle Boy wants you to, believe. Believe this channel who showed you proof of calls. And then believe Pickle Boy in the episode Writing Him Out of Our Lives on his regular channel, main channel, where him and the kids acknowledged they got abused. And then check out the cleanup guy walking up a flight of stairs and knock on a door to exploit someone who's addicted to drugs while mentioning you abused the dad, which is that elder abuse we knew was going to happen. So I just have to tell you my opinion, and have to tell you how I feel. And the Angry Neighbor's clearly in a monopoly with the family and friends with the family. She hasn't mentioned my channel, but's clearly triggered about it right this minute on her live stream because of everything that's being said. The scapegoated brother's in that monopoly for money. Scapegoated sister's in there too. And so is the cleanup guy. And so's the guy that's causing a big distraction, cutting open his face. I asked him what he thought about the abuse over a month ago, it's a couple months ago at this point, when he had his other channel, and he proceeded to scapegoat the brother. Okay, doesn't that seem really weird? You're asking what about the abuse, which is collectively, it's everybody. It's a whole bunch of different things that we're talking about over here. It's 100 videos worth. I asked him, what about the abuse? And this is what he said. That's the guy that cut open his face. He said, oh, I know the scapegoat. He said, oh, I know the brother in that family. He's such an abuser. And he doesn't pay his child support. And he's abusive. And just went on and on and on about how he didn't like the brother. And I asked him again after like 10 minutes of him rambling about the brother, which is a little bit too obvious for me. And he said the old man wasn't an abuser. He never saw them abuse the kids. Neglect is abuse, and so is actively abusing them and having court-ordered anger management. And what about all the 7 minutes worth of abuse footage I showed you on my channel? Just got a strike. Can't keep putting abuse footage out there because they can't come up with enough lies and distractions. You guys see them ignoring it, do you not? You see the angry neighbor ignoring it, do you not? That's because she's friends with Pickle Boy. It's because she doesn't care. Ah, Jennifer says the guy who cut his face is also a friend, also a fan of Grandpa, and wants to keep his memory alive. That's every channel that was against. That's even, excuse my language. I gotta give a different name. The firefighter, the supposed firefighter. He doesn't like Pickle Boy, right? Was trying to sell anti-Pickle Boy attire on his website, but still backed up what? The brand and the dad. Even though that's where all the abuse came from, that's where all the money is from. So that's where all the money's at. So you'll see people that are backing up the dad, never mentioning what about the abuse, to include the guy cutting his face, causing a distraction. They never mention what about the abuse in conjunction with sticking up with the dad. That's the firefighter. That's the angry neighbor. That's everybody in the monopoly. The cleanup guy. Laughing about abuse in my very first video on this channel. Gone a year without addressing why he laughed at abuse. Still wondering why he did that. I have no idea. But they have time to strike and take the channel down. Do you guys see what's going on? Do you see the importance of the channel? Please contact Philip DeFranco and let him know what's going on. Or the news outlets. Anyone that you think will care, please do it. Randall says, the guy cut his face? Yeah. Yeah, remember you guys watched a guy cut his face? And that became a big hot topic of conversation. And all of a sudden, the angry neighbor's like friends with this guy, and they talk directly with the cleanup guy. It's called a monopoly. It's called a distraction. And none of them have mentioned what about the abuse. What do you guys think about that? It's exactly what's going on, is it not? They could address the abuse at any time and refute what I'm saying, but they're not. They just keep lying and lying and lying. We got you, Trump. We see that there's an evil one, and we see that there's an amazingly awesome one. We see it. So not much we could do. People do clone accounts and things like that. It happens. No problem, sweetheart. Yeah, and it's a bit, yeah, exactly. It's a big public figure on your icon, so there's bound to be more than one of you too. But there are people that purposely go around and do that, just try to pretend to be you. Creative J says, did it help by calling DSS? Well, they didn't remove the kids from the situation, right? So they didn't take the DSS calls seriously. DSS and CPS can only go so far. They can't just go over there and remove the kids. They could just only go check on the situation and see what's going on. So did it help? No, because they enabled the drug addict. And then scapegoated him for content when everything went awry. And didn't take any accountability for the fact that they could have protected the kids because Pickle Boy owned that home and the old man was the guardian. But should that ever prevent you from calling or trying? Never. I called twice. And the police took it so seriously. They saw the video footage. They on their own went over there. They did. They made the decision on their own. The lady on the phone told me, she's like, well, if they think something's wrong, we're going to go over and check it out. They went over twice and took multiple officers over there because there was a drug addict on the loose. No offense to him now. He's doing great on his channel, but he wasn't last year. And it got the children and an elderly person abused. I'm sorry you got threatening emails from these people. I'm sorry that that happened. Gonzo Bombers, what's up? Well, I got a strike. I did a 7-minute abuse video. I didn't speak on it at all, gave no opinion whatsoever. It's all their own footage. It's on all their channels right now that they already profited off of. That's sitting over there on their channels right now. And I got the strike. So I appealed it. I'm over here talking about it. But Gonzo Bombers and everyone listening, you need to know that there's a diversion going on right now. It's called someone cutting open their face. That guy that's working with the angry neighbor. And they could talk and work in conjunction with, who's that other guy? The cleanup guy, right? The angry, they're all friends with Pickle Boy, causing a distraction. None of them have addressed what about the abuse, given an opinion on it, or care to. The angry neighbor wants you to think, and excuse me because I lost my voice. The angry neighbor wants you to think that she made those DSS calls and it was out of spite. The monopoly wants you to think that. And if you think that, then there was no abuse that ever happened, right? But then you forget that Pickle Boy backs up my story when he admits that abuse happened in the episode, writing him out of our lives on his channel, where the kids talk about their abuse. And in the video where the cleanup guy walks up the stairs to knock on the hotel room to scapegoat the brother who was addicted to drugs and who was enabled, he said there the old man got abused. He abused the dad. That's the elder abuse we knew was going to happen. And that's why the DSS call wasn't just for the kids. It was also for elderly AGP. If they could get you to think that someone else made the calls and it's a person that you shouldn't like, even though they're friends with them in the monopoly, and that the calls were made out of spite, then they never take accountability for the abuse. They never have to take accountability for the abuse or the fact that they're exploiting it on camera with the kids telling their abuse story. That's the point of this stream right now. So you got to know that. The angry neighbor's friends with them. She doesn't mind you thinking ill things about her or thinking lies about her as long as it cleans up the abuse. But she already said herself in my video why I called DSS on the greens. She said so herself, that she gave the kids Adderall and that the kids were being abused and that there was abuse going on and that the scapegoated brother was out of control, taking their medications. But instead of her actually picking up a phone and caring and actually having proof to prove this to you guys, which just, there's going to be no proof. It just backs up them wanting you to think the calls are made out of spite. Instead of her actually caring and calling, she enabled. She gave drugs. She gave Adderall. She replaced the Adderall that the addict took, which enables the addict and helps support this abuse and doesn't stop it, just keeps it going, keeps it persisting. She would do anything for that family. Scapegoating the brother on camera in one episode. And I think it's the scapegoated brother and her getting an argument or something. He doesn't say one word because he's being scapegoated and there's a meshment going on. And you need to know as a scapegoat, you can't control your damn emotions, really, because he's up there controlling himself completely. Well, then why is he online making death threats to people? and abusing children. Well, at some point, he let people get the better of him, and at some point, he needs to take accountability for having abused those kids, as do Pickle Boy and the old man for allowing it to happen. Now, this is what I'm going to do because I'm losing my voice, and I've already made my point on here. I don't want these to be too long because some people won't listen to them. I'm going to get off here now, and I'll get up again in a little bit with something else to talk about, right? Another point to be made. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to this channel. Let everyone know on your social media sites that Roasted Studios, until my strike gets lifted, is going to be on this channel talking, and that I'm not giving up, and that I'm thankful to have you guys. And just like we did on the last live stream, and every day, give yourself the compliment you deserve for sticking up for child abuse awareness, prevention, domestic violence awareness and prevention. The fact you guys are awesome, good people. The fact you've gone through things and are still good people. Give yourself the love right back. I will be right back, and I'm not giving up. Love to everybody. Cassandra's Curse, out.